First graders, today you need pencil, eraser, and math book first of all, and then there's going to be a whole separate project. The math book part's going to be short, and then the other thing will be big. So we are starting geometry today, which is the study of shapes and their relationships to each other. So when we do this, remember I talked about there are two kinds of shapes. There are flat shapes, which is what we're looking at today, and geometric solids, shapes that take up space. And we're going to start talking about those today after we finish the book. All right, guys, we are going to do, first of all, today, this introduction part to the unit on geometry called On the Move. So this is going to be not very tricky at all. We're looking at shapes, and just when you guys are seeing here, you're seeing two-dimensional shapes, right? You're seeing flat shapes there, you're seeing some here. You can see there's a rectangle with another rectangle. Here's a square and a rectangle. Rectangles here, there's a little rectangle down there. You can see here, there's kind of a triangle overlapping that rectangle. Here you have a part of a rectangle. Here's another part of a rectangle. Here are some squares. We're going to be looking in all these pictures of transportation things at the shapes there. So the train car waits for the engine. Name some shapes you see. Now, boys and girls, on this page, you should be able to name at least 3 types of shapes. And there's one thing that I'm going to draw your attention to because we're going to need it for when we start talking about our 3-dimensional shapes. You probably learned that this kind of shape right here was called a square, and this kind of shape right here was called a rectangle. Now, I want to let you know a rectangle is called a rectangle because it has this type of corner on it. The corner's like on a piece of paper. We call corners like that right angles or 90-degree, a little circle like that is the symbol for degree, 90-degree angles. So in a rectangle, that's what makes it be a rectangle. All 4 corners have those corners like you see on a regular piece of paper. They're right angles or 90-degree angles. Well, take a look at the square. Does the square have all corners that are right angles or 90-degree angles like we see on a piece of paper? A square does. So my guess is that you haven't been taught this yet, but the technical term for a square is actually a square rectangle, because a square is also a rectangle. It's just a very specific type of rectangle. It's a square rectangle because all the sides are the same length. So on this page, you have 3 types of shapes. On this page, you should be able to name some more shapes here. You should get, I do not see any square rectangles on this page. You should be able to find 3 kinds of shapes on here. I do not believe a square rectangle is going to be one of them. Here's another one with shapes to find. You can see lots of shapes in here. Notice all the little extra shapes too. Like, see right there, there's a teensy little shape. Lots of little shapes. Up here, we've got teensy little shapes. And here are some teensy little shapes, and you really, there are some circles right in there too. So make sure your eyes are really looking like an artist would at all the parts of the picture and all the little shapes that would be there. All right, here's some more. Now here, you can see that's not a circle, is it? Do you know what that one is called? That one is an oval. That word is probably familiar to you. You probably knew it even if you weren't quite thinking of it yet. This shape right here, we see a similar shape in the pattern blocks. That's called a parallelogram. Here are some more. Again, really push yourself to search for all the types of shapes you might see here that have names. When you look at this is a shape, isn't it? It's not one with a name, though. So look for the types of shapes that have names. I see a little tiny rectangle there inside a bigger rectangle. Lots of little shapes up here in the city skyline. All right, I do want you to do this kind of thing. Think about another kind of truck that takes goods, products that people make from one place to another. Draw a picture using squares, square rectangles, of course, circles, triangles, or rectangles in your drawing. And then write about your drawing. On this page, draw an airplane, use some triangles and circles in your drawing. Draw a train, use some rectangles and circles in your drawing. Now, boys and girls, today you can choose. You can choose to send me a picture of this page, or you can choose to send me a picture of this page. It's up to you. All right, boys and girls, now comes the part that is probably going to be frustrating. So take a deep breath. Know that it's probably going to be frustrating, but you're going to be okay. If it's not done exactly right, that's also okay. You're going to need scissors. You're going to need tape, and you're going to need, you have a whole paper clipped stack of papers that has these funny shapes all stuck together on them. Excuse me, we're going to talk now about what you're going to do with this. So, boys and girls, that brings us now to this piece of paper. You have a lot of these. You don't have to get them all cut out today. Start on them today. Get at least one of them, maybe two of them cut out today. In fact, I don't mind if you cut them out. Oh, if your mom or dad lets you watch a movie or a YouTube video, it's fine if you're working on cutting them out while you do that. But you want to be as careful as you can. Like I said, these may not turn out very well. That's okay. It's really easy to cut the lines incorrectly. Do the best you can. I'm going to pause the video and cut mine out. Wait to see mine before you cut yours so that you don't accidentally cut the wrong spots. All right, once it's cut out, it should look kind of like this. So these little tabs here are going to be your ways to get it taped together. So you're going to fold on each of these black lines. But you don't want to cut all these shapes apart, especially when you get to the cylinder. Make sure, not the cylinder, the cone. Make sure that you don't accidentally cut off the circle part on the end. So we're going to get all of these folded together. Pardon me. And then once they're all folded, we're going to tape it together to make, this one is the triangular prism, but you have one for a rectangular prism and a cube. And, oh, what was the other one? Oh, the cone. All right, so now I've got my fold line started. And now you can try to be fancy and fold these tabs underneath, but don't, because it's just very frustrating. So I'm going to start with this part first, right here. But I'm just going to tell you, it's not easy. It's not going to go together perfectly well. You're just going to do your best, and it's going to help your fingers start getting the idea of these three-dimensional shapes. So there you go. Did you notice how I tried to line that part up right there so that I don't have some of it sticking out? Now I'm going to try to get these two parts taped onto that end. I'm going to try to stick my fingers in here. Your fingers are shorter. It might be a little tricky. You might put a marker or something in there so you can press the tape against it. And now the last parts are going to be the trickiest because there's no way to stick anything in there to push the tape down with. Now, what? Oh, my goodness. How did I forget to tell you this earlier? One other choice is, hang on, I'm getting my glue out of my little drawer here, is to try putting some glue here on these little flaps that stick out. But it doesn't fix the problem that there's still no way to press them down. But if you want to try doing that instead, you can. And then just sort of press them, but you see how the bottom tries to scoot away? That doesn't work for me very well. So I'm going to be getting some tape and taping this part on. Do you see it still trying to squish underneath me? So don't get frustrated. If you start to feel frustrated, take a breath and just go, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. Just, if it doesn't work out just right. Remember, the point of this is not to have a beautiful three-dimensional shape, a geometric solid that you can keep forever as a testament to how brilliant you are. The point of this is just to start getting your fingers to know how these shapes work. All right, so it's not perfect, and I'm a grown-up who's done these several times. But what's really important once you make it is to actually hold it. Actually have your fingers feel what it feels like to have this shape inside your fingers. That's what's really going to help your brain start getting to know, oh yeah, feel those flat sides and those sharp angles. That's really going to help you understand what we need to do with these geometric solids. All right, girls, we are starting to study three-dimensional shapes. And if we were in the classroom, we would have our blocks that have some three-dimensional shapes, and I would also have this very precise set of shapes for you to take a look at. We're not there. So what you're going to be doing with those paper patterns is making some shapes so your fingers can actually feel them, right? We want our brain to know about it. We want our eyes to see it, but it's really important for our brains, for our fingers to actually work with it also. So I have here some that we're going to just take a quick look at, and then we're going to talk about how you're going to make those today. So the one that you don't have is a sphere, this round ball shape. If it were flat, two-dimensional, we would call it a circle, right? But this isn't a circle because you can actually, wrap your hand around it. It takes up space in the world. So this is called a geometric solid. It's three-dimensional. Here I have a half a sphere. And next year in second grade, you guys will be able to feel these. Here, this is really similar, but it's not quite the same. You can see a sphere no matter how I turn it. When you look down on it, it's a circle, right? But this one here, there are some angles where when you look down on it, it's a circle, but other angles where it's an oval. This type of shape is an ovoid shape. So we're not really working with this much. I just wanted to show it to you so that you would know for sure it's different from a sphere. All right, another one that you're going to be working with a lot now is a cone. Now, a cone is kind of interesting, because a cone will roll around a point. Can you see how it does that? That's kind of nifty to me about a cone, how it goes around. So you can see when you're looking at these sides, it's all curves here, isn't it? And when you look down from the top, you have this flat circle, but you can see that the sides are curved because the edge of the circle is curved. Now, this is really similar, but you can look down here and see there are no curves, right? These are straight lines, which means now the sides are straight and flat. So you're not going to work much with a pyramid shape. I just brought it to show you so that you would have that to compare to a cone, where the cone has curved sides, the pyramid has straight sides. Now, when you look at the bottom of a pyramid, do you see this is a square rectangle? So this is a square pyramid or a rectangular pyramid. This one is a triangular pyramid. But you don't need to worry too much about pyramids. They're not going to be in your book. We'll work more with them another time. The other type of shape is this prism shape, but this one, when the ends are circles, we call it a cylinder. We have lots of these in the blocks in the classroom, don't we? And just like the cone will roll, a cylinder will roll, but a cylinder rolls in a straight direction where the cone rolls around the point. Now, a cylinder with these circles on the end, the circles on the end tell you that the sides are curved, right? They're not flat. If we have flat sides, we do call it a prism. So When you look at a prism, to know what kind of prism it is, you have to look around at all the different sides and see what shapes all the different sides are. Let's count the sides first of all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 sides on these prisms, or on this type of prism. And when you look at the prisms, if all of the sides are rectangles, here's another one. If all sides are rectangles, then it is a rectangular prism. But here we have some other types of prisms. Here's a rectangle and a rectangle, all these rectangles, but here you can see that's not a rectangle, that's a 5-sided shape called a pentagon. So this is a pentagonal prism. Now this is like a pyramid, you don't need to worry about remembering that too much. Here's another one, rectangles all on these long sides. But here we have a shape with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like a stop sign. That's called an octagon. This is an octagonal prism. Here we have rectangle, 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 but look at these ends, they're triangles. These are triangular prisms. Here's another type of triangular prism. I really feel bad that you guys don't get to actually touch these in the classroom, but we'll get there one of these days. Here you can see again rectangles all on the sides, but this is like our yellow piece in the pattern blocks, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides, so that's a hexagon. These are hexagonal prisms. Now I have here a couple of other cylinders, so you can see, we have this type of cylinder, this sort of shape. This one here, these are both still cylinders. Even though one of them has a big circle and the other one a small circle, and this one is short from top to bottom and this one is tall from top to bottom, they're still cylinders. Just like here with these rectangular prisms, we have lots of different kinds of rectangular prisms. Oh, just a minute, let me see if I can get this guy to focus back in here. So most box shapes are rectangular prisms. Now, just like you learned that a square has a particular type of rectangle, a cube is a particular type of rectangular prism. So take a look. Right here we have a square rectangle, don't we? There's one side. 2 sides are square rectangles. 3 sides are square rectangles. 4, and now we need to catch this side over here, 5, and now this side back over here, 6. All 6 sides of this rectangular prism are square rectangles. If all the sides are squares, then this special type of rectangular prism is called a cube. So quite a job, wasn't it? And you have a whole bunch of these to make. So you don't have to send me a picture of them, but I'd love to see a picture once you get them all made, because I know this is going to be a bit of a hassle. Take your time with it, take some deep breaths, and remember, you don't have to finish them all today. But getting these made is going to be really great for helping your brain understand this. Another thing we're going to do later this week is you're going to kind of do a scavenger hunt around your house to look for more geometric solids. Now, you don't have to come up with a triangular prism, but you're going to look for some of the others. And so again, doing these shapes this way is going to help your brain be ready to find them in other places. Start looking for them when you're going around the house, so that when you need to do that scavenger hunt for me later on, it'll be easy because, you've already started thinking about it. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.